Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Armageddon. Today we're going to be featuring a Brawl deck with Syr Faren the Hengehammer as our commander, as part of our series of Brawl videos featuring commanders from Throne of Eldraine. Syr Faren is part of a cycle of legendary knights at uncommon. Now all of the others cost 5 mana, as we saw from our previous Brawl videos, but Syr Faren is only 2. Syr Faren has a powerful triggered ability, which is that when he attacks, another attacking creature gets +X/+X, where X is Syr Faren's power. So it is important to have ways of pumping Syr Faren's power to maximize the benefit of this triggered ability. You could play a lot of combat tricks to boost Syr Faren's power. The problem with those, however, is that when you usually want to cast combat tricks is mid-combat if the opponent blocks your attackers. But to use Syr Faren's ability, you would have to cast them either pre-combat or when attackers are declared, because Syr Faren's ability triggers as soon as you declare him to be an attacker. We are playing several different ways of boosting Syr Faren's power, some as one-time effects, some repeatable, and some permanent, and we'll get to those in a bit. First, I've broken the deck down into different categories, so let's go through them now. First, we have our mana acceleration. You might think that with a commander who only costs 2 mana to cast, you don't need that much ramp, but we do have a lot of top end in this deck, and we want to be able to do things like equip equipment multiple times on our turn, or cast 2 or even 3 spells a turn. So we have Mox Amber, which is a free artifact, and which adds green mana if Syr Faren or another legendary creature or planeswalkers on the battlefield. At 1 mana, we have the classic Birds of Paradise, which were added to Arena in the Bloomburrow Commander expansion, as well as Delighted Halfling, Elvish Mystic, Llanowar Elves, and Utopia Sprawl, which enchants a forest. We have lots of ramp at 2 mana, starting with Bramble Familiar, which late in the game can be cast for its adventure, Fetch Quest. Other typical mana creatures include Druid of the Cowl, Leafkin Druid, Paradise Druid, Sanctum Weaver, Tangled Florahedron, which can be played as a land, Wolfwillow Haven, which enchants a land, and Woe's Pathfinder. And some of these 2 mana accelerants have additional abilities. We're also playing Snow Basics to go with Into the North, which puts an extra land onto the battlefield, as well as Sculptor of Winter, which can untap a snow land to add an additional mana, and Spirit of the Alderguard, which doesn't technically ramp us, but puts a snow land into our hand so that we can keep hitting our land drops. Because we have all of these mana creatures, we aren't playing as many of the ramp artifacts, just Arcane Signet and Cold Steel Heart because they tap for green mana, and Emerald Medallion, which discounts our green spells, as well as Heraldic Banner, which is important because it buffs Syr Faren's power, as well as that of all our other creatures. We also have Vorinclex to help us keep hitting our land drops, and who can eventually transform into the Saga the Grand Evolution, which can be game-winning. Next, we have several different ways of boosting power. We have some equipment, Shadow Spear for lifelink and trample, Black Blade Reforged, which can be equipped cheaply to Syr Faren, Hero's Heirloom, which gives legendary creatures trample and haste, and Onduril Flame of the West, which creates flying spear tokens. We have ways of giving +1/+1 counters, such as Tenacious Pop, which is great to play on turn 1 and then play Syr Faren on turn 2, Boreal Outrider, Renata Call to the Hunt, Defiler of Vigor, which also allows us to cast our green permanents using Phyrexian mana, which is effectively a discount, and Suruk and Goreclaw, which also gives our creatures haste. Rothga Bonded Engulfer has a similar ability in that it perpetually doubles the stats of the next creature you cast. We have a few auras which increase the power of the creature they enchant as well. Audacity, which also gives trample and draws a card when it is put into the graveyard, and at 6 mana, Epic Proportions and Prodigious Growth, which provide huge buffs and trample. Finally, We also have a few effects that boost power repeatedly. The new Tyvar the Pummeler from Duskmourn has an activated ability to give all creatures +X/+X, where X is the highest power among creatures we control. Garruk Unleashed can give a creature +3/+3 in trample until end of turn. God Eternal Ronus, which doubles the power of all our creatures when it enters. And Unnatural Growth, which doubles each creature's power and toughness at the beginning of combat on both players' turns. We then have removal. First, Cankerbloom, Outland Liberator, Reclamation Sage, Silverback Elder, which can also put extra lands into play, and the Adventure Half on Stormkeld Vanguard, Bear Down, all destroy artifacts or enchantments. Hunter's Talent is a bite effect when it enters, and can be leveled up to pump a creature's power and give it trample, and eventually draw a card if we have a big enough creature. The ability of Hunter's Talent on level 2 to boost a creature's power can increase Syr Faren's power before his ability triggers, if you order the triggers on the stack correctly. At the top end, we have Kogla the Titanate, which fights a creature when it enters and destroys artifacts or enchantments when it attacks, and Thormanmeth, which can fight multiple times. We next have ways of drawing extra cards or playing cards off the top of our library. Tome of Legends can draw additional cards by removing page counters, which it adds whenever Syr Faren enters or attacks, and we want to attack with Syr Faren every turn if we can help it. Augur of Autumn lets us play lands and eventually creatures off the top of our deck. Elven Chorus lets us play creatures off the top of our deck, and also turns all our creatures into mana creatures. Guardian Project draws a card whenever a creature enters under our control, while Elder Gargaroth can draw a card when it attacks or blocks, among other abilities. Finally, Ohir Khazlam, Deepest Growth, can put additional lands and creatures into play when it hits the opponent, and turns into a land when it dies. Next, we have a few creatures that are valuable because they have useful abilities. Champion of Lamholt gets bigger as creatures enter under our control, and makes it so that creatures smaller than it can't block our creatures. Prowling Serpapard makes it so that our creature spells can't be countered. Steelleaf Champion is huge for its mana cost and can't be chump blocked, while Yorvo, Lord of Garenbrig, also gets bigger as we play more creatures. Finally, we have a couple of ways of protecting our creatures from removal. Snakeskin Veil gives a creature a +1/+1 counter and hexproof until end of turn, while Heroic Intervention protects our whole board from sweepers that destroy creatures or permanents. We're playing mostly snow-covered forests, and this allows us to play Faceless Haven as a creature land. We're also playing Lair of the Hydra as a creature land as well. Boseiju Who Endures can be channeled to destroy either a non-basic land, artifact, or enchantment. Castle Garenbrig ramps us for casting creature spells. Hashep Oasis can be sacrificed to pump one of our creatures. Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx, can add a lot of extra mana. And then we have Fabled Passage and Prismatic Vista to search up a basic land and thin out the deck. And then finally we have Plaza of Heroes and Tyrite Sanctum to protect Syr Faren. So that's our Syr Faren deck. Now it's time to take it into the queue and play some games. Alright, on the play. I think we can keep this. Natural Growth is good. Epic Proportions gives trample. We've got some artifact and enchantment removal. Grist could be a problem with creating Death Touch creatures. Surprised we didn't have any ramp in our opening hand. We do have lots in the deck. Opponent likes their opening hand as well. Use the swamp. There's some mana acceleration. to lead with Syr Faren. There's Grist.
Feed.
We return Grist to the command zone. So they must not have a way of recurring it from the graveyard and transforming it into a planeswalker right away. I think we play Yorvo, and then next turn play Sculptor and Delighted Halfling. Just had a momentary power outage. Opponent replays Grist. Alright, now they leave Grist in the graveyard. Brawl Harpooner. Don't draw a land. There's Grist.
Hunger. I drink the blood of this world.
Opponent
Another child
mills
of
Old
hunger.
Retstein, so the insect has a Death Touch counter. There's a land. Stormkill Vanguard gets around the insects. Well, Blight Beetles definitely. You don't usually see color hosers because you never know what kind of decks you're going to face.
The swarm grows.
Alright. So right now, the two Crawl Harpooners could trade for Stormkill Vanguard. Alright, so Grist can destroy the Epic Proportions, so I have to take out Grist.
in its grave!
Good thing I don't have any flyers, or they'd be hitting them with their repeatable tokens. Opponent gets back a land. Uh-oh. I think I've disconnected here. Yep. Okay, just a second. Alright. Accidentally got into some gameplay. But basically what happened is I played Emerald Medallion and a Natural Growth and attacked with the Stormkilled Vanguard. And a Natural Growth combined with a Stormkilled Vanguard with Epic Proportions on it is enough for a concession. On we go. On the draw, I might play Rothga before I play Syr Faren, just to double Syr Faren's power. So I think we lead with Leafkin Druid on 2. We've got Black Blade Reforged. And what do you know? We draw Elvish Mystic on 1. Opponent also ramping with Woodland Mystic. Too bad they didn't play a ramp artifact, because I could have destroyed it with Reclamation Sage. As it is, some of my mana is going to go unused here. Too bad one of these isn't Arcane Signet, because I could play Arcane Signet and another 2-drop. I don't think opponent is going to block with the Woodland Mystic, but I don't want to take the chance for if they do, so I think we don't attack with Elvish Mystic. There's Sewerulf. Alright, Birds of Paradise, that's a good draw, because I can play that and Rothga. I better play that first, because I don't want to use the one-time boon from Rothga on Birds of Paradise, which doesn't have any power. Looks like opponent has removal for Rothga. No blocks. The opponent could... Oh, they've got removal for Syr Faren. We'll keep the perpetual effects on Syr Faren. Unfortunately, I think being on the draw, an opponent having removal is going to do us in here. Draw another ramp artifact. So the problem is that opponent can remove the 2+1/+1 counters from Saurulf. And destroy Black Blade Reforged. And of course they get Questing Beast. So if I attack with Syr Faren, they just block with Questing Beast. And then Malakir, Coldblade, and Saurulf get bigger. Oh. All of my cards were 2-drops. Well, that was brutal. Alright, so Saurulf is a terrible matchup. Better luck next time. On we go. On the play, Tenacious Pup into Syr Faren is great. We've got Sanctum Weaver. Shadow Spear is good for trample. And then Stormkeld Vanguard. Unfortunately, the gods from Theros Beyond Death have Indestructible, so I can't destroy Heliod with Stormkeld Vanguard. Can attack with Tenacious Pup. Sage of Life's Bounty. Alright, Defiler of Vigor. Would like to draw lands. Tenacious Pup a 4/5. Opponent takes it. Opponent hits 3 lands. Surprised they didn't activate Soulmender end of turn. And there's Heliod. Alright, excellent. We draw a land. Defiler of Vigor would be the most efficient play here. kind of want to equip Shadow Spear on Tenacious Pup, so I have a trampling attacker and then destroy Alsaid with Bear Down. I don't know why they put the counter on the Alsaid. Oh, I could have destroyed Heliod with Shadow Spear, because it removes Hexproof and Indestructible. But opponent's devotion to white is only 2. And now it is 6. Alright, so I think it's Defiler of Vigor here. The opponent triggers Soulmender. Counter on Phyrexian Vindicator. No attacks. Passionate Orator. Okay. Round of Renewal. Opponent's got removal for I don't know why they destroyed Rothga when Rothga has already had the effect they should have destroyed Defiler of Vigor. Alright, Righteous Valkyrie. Heliod gives it lifelink. Emerald Medallion. Alright, and then I think... it's going up to 19, going to 25. Land. Not great. Unfortunately, Phyrexian Vindicator's ability is not indestructible. Alright, I think it's pretty much this turn or bust. We can turn Stormkeld Vanguard into a 20/20. So we're getting 13. Oh, wow. That was lucky. If opponent had survived, the Phyrexian Vindicator was going to do 20 points of damage to something. But fortunately, we got opponent down to -1. We'll take it. On we go. Alright, on the draw, 4 lands. Osage could be channeled. I think we play Rothka and then Syr Faren. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Well, we'll keep this. has something they can do for 1 mana. Choose not to do it. Mox Amber. I'm not sure how good Mox Amber is in a deck with a 7 mana commander. So hopefully that's not their only legendary creature or planeswalker. Alright, Wolfwillow Haven resolves. Six Study is annoying. Can get 6 mana with Castle Garenbrig, but I can't use that mana to pay for Rhystic Study, so I could play Vorinclex next turn. We're going to have to play off Curve if we don't want opponent to draw cards off Rhystic Study. I guess I could have blown it up with Tinkerbloom. I should have thought of that. Opponent at 4 lands, plays Chromatic Lantern. They've got removal for Tyvar. Kogla. I can use Castle Garen. The only problem is if I use Castle Garenbrig to ramp, then I can't pay for Rhystic Study. I'm ramping some more with Cold Steelheart. Draw Hero's Heirloom. I think we play Vorinclex here so we can hit our land drops. Can't equip Shadow Spear with mana from Castle Garenbrig. Now, of course, Vorinclex is easily bounced, but at least difficult for red removal spells to remove, unless they're playing some very expensive and clunky ones. They don't have any plays. Mox Amber. We've got Vorinclex, so Mox Amber taps for mana. Opponent holds up all their mana. Vika doesn't have Flash. we'll equip Shadow Spear. See if that prompts a response. It does not. Alright, we hit opponent for 7. We could be holding up a counterspell, I guess. I guess I could have played Syr Faren and equipped Hero's Heirloom to him and attacked with him. Alright, there's the opponent's counterspell. I could attach Hero's Heirloom to Vorinclex, but there's not really much point. Alright, opponent has 1 mana up. Black Blade Reforged. I think Kogla is a trade. I don't think I can play Syr Faren and Kogla here. How much mana do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're 1 mana short. And then we would need an additional 2 mana. No, I guess I didn't need to. I shouldn't have paid for ward there. I just sort of automatically. Oracle of the Alpha is fine. Outland Liberator gives me a creature I can bounce. Or, yes, bounce with Kogla to give Kogla indestructible. It's got something they can do. Alright, so we get in there. can activate Kogla's ability. Alright, opponent's at 1. So they're going to need a really good draw. Nox Emerald is not it. Alright. Well, we definitely lucked out that that was the card of the Power 9 that they hit, and not, say, Time Walk. Well, on we go. On the play, we've got some ramp. Aurelia the War Leader could be a problem, because I don't have any creatures with reach. But hopefully with our start we'll be able to get unnatural growth down early and beat opponent up before they do too much damage with Aurelia. God Eternal Ronus. I would prefer to have drawn a land. Play Renata here. And then Syr Faren and Champion of Lambholt and Unnatural Growth. Alright, we do draw land. Opponent is stuck on 2 lands. Let's play Champion of Lambholt and Syr Faren. Yep, opponent's got removal. An Elish Honor Guard. And opponent can't block because I'm Champion of Lambholt. And there we go. Well, we definitely lucked out. Opponent kept missing their land drops. And we had ramp. Anyway, sometimes it's that easy. On we go. On the play, I'm a little concerned about keeping a hand with 2 lands, but we can still play Tome of Legends, Outland Liberator, and Syr Faren. So I think we'll keep. So you could change around some of the cards in this deck. You could consider, for example, playing less artifact and enchantment removal and running something like Garruk's Uprising to give all your creatures trample, or you do draw land, so that was lucky, or Railway Brawler to double your creature's power and toughness. Play Tome of Legends, and then I think play Boreal Outrider. We'll start pumping our creatures. Opponent has Clarion Spirit. Utopia Sprawl. So hopefully we'll hit a land, because that will allow us to play a 3-drop and Syr Faren. Alright, Bone Splitter. Fits Chaplain and Bombs. Could trade for Clarion Spirit, but I kind of want Boreal Outrider to provide +1/+1 counters. Looks like opponent might have a trick, so it's just as well that I didn't block, probably. Alright, we do draw the land. So maybe it's Reclamation Sage, blow up, Bone Splitter. Syr Faren? Alright. Opponent hits their 4th land. Plays Catcher's Monument. So they still have 1 mana up. For what I assume is a combat trick. Hunter's Talent. That's going to be useful. So I could draw and play Hunter's Talent. Alright, land on top. I kind of want to smoke out the combat trick before I use Hunter's Talent, so I think we'll attack with Syr Faren and Reclamation Sage here. I want to keep Boreal Outrider to keep putting +1/+1 counters on my creatures. And we can use Outland Liberator next turn to destroy Catcher's Monument. Opponent takes it. So I'm not sure what they have. But I think I will play Hunter's Talent here, because I won't have the mana to activate Outland Liberator, and I don't want them to destroy Outland Liberator before I can use it to destroy Oketra's Monument. And we'll use Reclamation Sage to target Clarion Spirit, since that's most likely to get around a combat trick. Alright, so that was the combat trick. Fight is won. Danto Vanguard is fine. There's Adeline. So opponent is going pretty wide here. Play a land off the top. Drawing another land. All our creatures are free power. We'll level up Hunter's Talent. Alright, over column coming up next. And then I can target Syr Faren with Hunter's Talent, and I should be able to order the triggers that the Hunter's Talent trigger resolves first. Yeah. Alright, opponent takes 4 from Syr Faren. Alright, Seasoned Hellblade. They've got good attacks with Adeline and the Spirit. They don't really have good attacks with everyone else. Alright, let's see here. We're taking 1, 4, 14, 17, 20, 24. I need to chump with Boreal Outrider. Alright, we're at 6. Okay, let's see here. Opponent's at 5. We're basically dead. Bishop Oasis doesn't give trample. One can just jump Reclamation Sage. I'm not sure why they're blocking. And then opponent could be suspecting a combat trick. Alright. I think we have to play Syr Faren. They look like they're going to activate Shephat Dunes, which I think does me in here. Yep. Yeah. Unfortunately, I am dead. However, I can at least take out... If I weren't dead, I could take out the Danto Vanguard, because they can't afford to pay the life. Close! If the opponent hadn't gone as wide and been able to chump block so often, I think we would have got there. Well, on we go. Alright, we've got ramp, card draw, card advantage with Oher Kozlem, and most importantly, removal for Charismatic Bridge. So I think we keep this. We also have 3 lands, which is sort of the minimum number of lands you ideally want in an opening hand. Opponent goes down to 6. Okay, well, apparently 2-mana ramp is good enough. Okay then, on we go. Alright, on the play, got some ramp. Tyvar to pump our creatures. Silverback Elder can ramp us. Maybe destroy opponent's ramp artifacts. I think we'll keep this. Wouldn't mind getting, like, Kogla. Or Joda. Opponent fetches a tapped basic with Perilous Landscape. Alright, Hero's Heirloom is fine. Another tap land. Another land is fine. So I think we want to play Sculptor of Winter and Syr Faren. One plays Geralf the Fleshright. So that blanks Syr Faren. I could play Hero's Heirloom and equip it. Let's get Silverback Elder down. And then next turn, I'll be able to play Tyvar, Hero's Heirloom, and equip the Heirloom. Opponent plays Boromir. Tenacious Pup. Kind of messes up my so I think we wait to play Tenacious Pup until we can play it with another creature. I could equip Tyvar and give him haste. Takes it. opponent needs green mana and then they can play Joda. That'll be kind of a problem. Tiny Bones. Alright. We have up to 9 mana. We need 5 to activate Tyvar. I can do that at instant speed. And 2 to equip Heirloom. Syr Faren, which I think I want to do. Alright. That does it. Syr Faren, they should have blocked something else with Boromir and blocked a creature with more toughness on Syr Faren, because of course Syr Faren just trampled over. So there we go. So that's our Syr Faren deck in action. Certainly, as I was saying in a previous game, you could make some changes to it. Change up your cards, you could add some overrun effects as long as they provide trample. You could add enchantments that boost power. There's lots of different things you can do. So I hope you enjoyed. Do please like and subscribe. If you'd like to see another commander from Throne of Eldraine or a commander from a different set, let me know in the comments. Thanks again, and have a good one. Bye.